Chapter 1. Samantha walked barefoot down the vacated hallway to the ice machine, just a few doors down from her lavish hotel room. The carpet felt good on her feet after wearing new high heels in and out of meetings all day. Although tired, she couldn't complain. The investment company she worked for had put her up in a plush hotel during her 3-day Seattle business trip. Knowing how unstable the economy had been over the last decade made her thankful to have landed such a prestigious job right out of college. She reached the ice machine and looked down at the gleaming diamond ring she wore on her left hand. It reminded her that she only had 2 more weeks to plan the final details before she tied the knot with Harrison, her boyfriend of 3 years. She smiled to herself as she envisioned the intimate ceremony that would take place in her hometown of Denver, Colorado. Their outdoor reception would have the beautiful backdrop of the Rocky Mountains. She placed the ice bucket under the spout, which muffled the noise of footsteps coming up behind her. Samantha gasped and dropped her ice bucket when she felt a firm hand on her shoulder. She turned to see an attractive man smiling at her.
"I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you,"
he said, kneeling to lift the bucket from the floor.
"I just figured you wouldn't be able to hear me over the ice machine."
He handed her the bucket and proceeded to grab the few pieces of ice that had escaped onto the woven carpet before standing.
"I seem to have lost my room key, and I was wondering if I might use the phone in your room to call the front desk,"
he said, taking a step toward her. He was good-looking and probably just trying to pick her up, but she didn't like the way he was intruding on her personal space. The man looked to be in his mid-30s. Like her, he was dressed in business attire, but his worn-in baseball hat looked out of place. She noticed his jacket also looked way too casual to be worn over a dress shirt and tie. "Why don't you just go down to the front desk and get a new key?" Samantha took a step back, uncomfortable with his request and his proximity to her in the empty hallway. Seeing her apprehension, the man's smile faded. He took a quick look behind him, as if to make sure they were still alone in the hall, and she began to think she might be in danger.
"Oh, right. I'll just do that."
His expression turned cold, and he lingered for an uncomfortable moment. She knew she might be imagining it, but she could see evil in his eyes as he stared at her. She took another step back and wondered if she should cry out for help before he turned and walked away. She watched him move down the hallway and let out the breath she'd been holding in. Once he was out of her sight, she finished filling the ice bucket. She looked over her shoulder to make sure he was gone before taking quick steps back to her room. She still had the man on her mind when she got back to her door and realized her room key was no longer in her hand. She was sure she had taken it with her. "It must have fallen when I dropped the ice bucket," she swore under her breath, ready to be back inside the safety of her room. Begrudgingly, she started back toward the ice machine when she saw her key card on the floor right in front of her door. Thank goodness. She picked it up, opened her door, and went inside. She made sure it had completely closed behind her before she turned the lock and set the latch as an extra precaution. Her iPhone rang, and she set the bucket down on her nightstand before pulling the phone out of her purse. Harrison. She stretched out on the pillow-top mattress and felt herself relax from the sound of his voice. They didn't talk for long. She could hardly keep her eyes open while she reclined on the comfortable bed and spoke to her fiancé. After they hung up, she laid her phone down and wandered into the bathroom to wash her face. She pulled her curly red hair into a bun atop her head. The moment she splashed her face with water, she heard something squeak. She assumed it came from the room next to her and continued to wash off her makeup when an electric current surged through her body. She arched her back in response to the pain. She started to cry out, but fell silent as her body convulsed from the shock. The muscles in her legs gave out, and she dropped to the tile floor. Her vision was blurred from the makeup remover and mascara running into her eyes, but she recognized the man from the ice machine standing over her. He held a black object in one of his gloved hands and what looked like a needle and syringe in the other. She felt a rush of panic and scrambled to stand, but her muscles were too weak from the shock.